This is a Dude Studios production. And hey, I'm the dude.
You know, sometimes when I'm working, I don't have a lot of time to eat or even sit down. But sometimes you just got to have something in your stomach, otherwise you're just going to have a rough afternoon. That's why I keep a Raw Rev nutrition bar in my backpack at all times. That way, if I just need something quick to put in my stomach, I just grab it in my bag, I eat it, it's good for you. It has high quality plant-based proteins, no soy or whey proteins. They're nutrition and diet conscious ingredients, healthy proteins, fats and fiber, nothing artificial. And they've got a lot of these great flavors like creamy peanut butter and sea salt, peanut butter dark chocolate and sea salt, double chocolate brownie batter, and birthday cake, and tons of other flavors. Go check them out. www.rawrev.com. Use Hey Bartender at checkout to get 5% off your entire order. Go to www.rawrev.com and don't forget to use promo code Hey Bartender. Now, Laura Hope in the Arctones, would you please help me get this started?
Hey bartender, pass me a drink. A reason that I'm here is I need time to think. All the ways of the
Hello,
world.
good evening, good morning, whenever you're listening to this. This is Hey Bartender Podcast. I am the dude. You can call me Anthony. This is Hey Bartender Podcast, the only podcast that insists you drink water if you are absolutely thirsty. Hope everybody's having a good time wherever you're at, whatever you're doing. If you're not doing anything, hope you're enjoying it. Let's get started with this episode with the drink special of the day. This one is stolen off of the TikTok of Canadian Ginger Girl. Some of you might remember her. She was on podcast a while back. She was actually one of my most downloaded podcasts up there. No pressure to anybody else that's been on my podcast. You guys are all awesome. But Canadian Ginger Girl, actually really helped me out quite a bit. So I'm going to give her a couple props here. I was looking at her TikTok, and she was talking about a shot called an After 8 shot. Now, how you make this shot? Grab yourself a shot glass. You pour in about a third of a shot of Kahlua, and then you put in about a third of cream de menthe, and then you top it off, layer it if you can, with some Baileys. And she rates it a 9 out of 10 shot. If you go out and try it, let me know what you think of it. Let her know what you think of it on TikTok at Canadian Ginger Girl. Or you can email me, dude@heybartenderpodcast.com, and I can tell her what you thought of it. She's a great bartender, and she was really fun to talk to. So if you want to go back and check out her show, it was episode 182 interview with Ashley Cardinal. Sorry about the text message I just received. It means nothing to me. But episode 182 with Ashley Cardinal. She's really cool. She was really fun to talk to. Well, people, this show I'm going to talk about some things that's going to see if you can all relate to it. Now, it came up because I was at a restaurant this last weekend, and I was watching these two employees that were just staring nails at each other and walking eggshells around each other. And I was just like, what the hell is wrong with them? And fortunately, I know the waitress that was serving my table, and I said, is something wrong with them? Because I'm feeling the tension here. And she said, oh, yeah, they dated for a little while, and they kind of had a bad breakup. Now, dating your fellow coworkers. Yeah, that's a really touchy subject. I mean, it's not something you can really help. Because, you know, in my opinion, sometimes when you're working with a bunch of people that you're familiar with, you get along with, you hang out with more than you do your own family. Sometimes you develop feelings. Sometimes you want to hang out with them more than just in a work situation. Because you get along while you're working together. You make jokes. You make each other laugh. And, you know, just that whole familiarization of having somebody around you for large amounts of time just becomes comfortable, and you become comfortable with that person. And then you get these ideas that you want that to escalate a little bit more, to be something a little bit more. So you decide to take the plunge and say, hey, what are you doing this weekend? I feel like going to go out and see the new Marvel movie. You want to go? because we both have the day off, why not? Let's go. And, there's nothing wrong with that, people. I mean, I'm not going to be that bartender that's going to sit there and discourage you from dating coworkers. I've dated coworkers before, and there's some ups and there's some downs to it. And because, one, you get to see them all the time, and, it makes everything at first better at work because you're excited to go to work because they're going to be there, and you get along with them, and believe it or not, the customers do kind of get a kick out of it when they see both of you flirting together behind the bar. It's kind of funny, but back when I was working at a bar and I was dating my coworker, she and I were flirt behind the bar. She would flirt with me behind the bar and usually make me kind of, what's the word, embarrassed or whatever. And she used to get a kick out of it because it tortured me. And the customers just enjoyed seeing us together. They liked us as a couple. It was, kind of those celebrity couples type of thing. It was kind of like that. But some bars out there, they discourage you from dating any of your coworkers. And, they even have it in the employee handbook that they give you to sign and look over before you start your first shift. And it, to me, that's kind of ridiculous because, sometimes you just can't control yourself. You just get comfortable around somebody and things just happen. Sparks start to fly. And sometimes, it can turn into a good thing. Sometimes it can go really, really south. One of my, some of my favorite customers, they used to work at a nearby restaurant from where I worked. They used to come into my bar late at night after their shift because my bar was open later than their restaurant. They were the nicest couple ever. And they were always friendly, always smiling. They're always they always, were happy to see us, and we were happy to see them just because they were cool, mellow people. And, I don't think I could ever picture them with anybody else just because they enjoyed each other's company. And they didn't necessarily hang on each other the whole time that they were at the bar together. I mean, they walked around, some of their fellow coworkers showed up too, and they'd go talk to them for a little bit while the other one went and shot pool. But, for the most part, they were a good couple together, and it was always nice to see them together and happy. And as far as I know, I mean, it's been years since I've seen them. They're probably still together because they made a good couple and they got along great. But once in a while, you see, I've seen other couples. They start out great. They're friendly as can be, but then the relationship kind of goes a little spiral. They kind of, I don't want to say get tired of each other, but they're no longer, the honeymoon's over. The excitement's done. And there was nothing to re-spark it. There was nothing to rekindle it. There was, they both knew that the relationship was never going to go any farther than that. And then they end up breaking up. Now, the terms of the breakup would often define how the relationship would go from there. Because it was nice to see two people date, and it was nice to see them stay good friends afterwards. But there were many, many times where there were horrible breakups. Whether, you pick a horrible way that somebody's broken up with you, or you've seen somebody getting broken up with. And don't you feel the tension between them? They all of a sudden, they've got to do the thing of who gets to go where, what time. They try to work different shifts to make sure they don't see each other, or you can go to this bar, I'm going to this bar. Let's split up the friends. And it's a really heartbreaking divorce of sorts. First time I ever saw something like that happen was I was working as a dishwasher at a restaurant in Seattle. It was pretty much it was my second job in the service industry, but I was a dishwasher, and I was stuck in the hole all shift long, hot, sweaty, and every once in a while, people would come down and have a cigarette and BS with each other or just goof off during their lunch hour while I was busy knocking out the dishes. And but then all of a sudden one day I come into work and I see a picture. Well, more than just a picture, lots of pictures all over the employee area of this couple, and with a note underneath it that was pretty much scathing. One person was saying about the other, saying how badly they were treated, how unfairly it happened, and it was just all a game to them, and they used them. And I was like, oh my God, why is this up here? And I was still pretty young at the time. I think I was like 19 or 20. And still new to a lot of stuff. I mean, the whole dating world's, well, still at 44, it's a huge mystery to me. But to go as far as to publicly smear, this was the days before social media, kids, where you could get on Twitter or Facebook or something like that and completely defile the person publicly, worldwide. They just this person just decided to completely post pictures of them happy together and some rude things with a note underneath it, and just put it all over the employee areas of the restaurant, in the dishwasher area, in the bathroom, in the kitchen, in the break area. And I was like, my God, that would be really embarrassing, that and crazy. So that almost defined to me what, should anybody really date in the workplace, because now you're left in an uncomfortable situation where you have to see each other every day. And, there's going to be tension between, because one of them was a bartender, the other one was a server, and they were going to have to cross paths majority of the time because they both worked the dinner shift. That's when the good money was there. And eventually people were going to want to order a drink that the bartender had to make. And, I never got asked by the server, could you please go over to the bar and deliver those drinks to table 6? No, I was too busy and I preferred to stay out of it. I mean, it was like, still like high school. I mean, we were all still pretty young back then. And so people still had that whole high school mentality, even though most of them were college students working at night just to make ends meet. And, to handle it like that, I don't think even high schoolers, well, maybe now high schoolers do it. They'll put it on their Facebook or something like that. But I was almost appalled. And the manager really didn't do anything about it. He allowed all of those pictures to be up there. And I kept thinking, well, that creates kind of a hostile work environment and makes people uncomfortable. So why are these things still up there? He left them up there, so I didn't care. I mean, it's not my business. Those two had to take care of it themselves. I think those pictures actually stayed up for a couple weeks. And, some of the pictures came down, but some of them stayed up for as long as I worked at that restaurant as a dishwasher. And it wasn't that long because I was having a hard time balancing school and work at the same time. And I've seen it quite a few times where, like I said, some of these restaurants, they make you sign a little piece of paper that says that you're not going to date any of your employees. And so they keep it secret, so, hey, you want to go out? Okay, don't tell anybody at work because we could get in trouble for that. And since they signed that piece of paper, I believe it is grounds for termination in some places. Some restaurants, they do realize, well, we can't stop it. It just happens. I mean, hormones kick in, feelings start to rise. It just happens. They try to discourage it, but they know it can't happen. But there have been situations where the management does say either break up or you're both fired. Now, that to me is kind of like your parents saying, you can't date that certain person. And then all of a sudden you get those feelings like, well, I love that person. We're going to be together for the rest of our lives. Yeah, that happens quite a bit. And so it becomes kind of a rebellious thing. We're going to stay together. Go ahead and fire us because we care about each other. And I don't think I've ever heard any stories where the management actually followed through with it. But there was the threat. It's kind of weird because the experience that I had with dating a coworker, we were together. She and I were together constantly, all the time. We worked the same shifts except for like 1 or 2 a week. And it was just us. And then it just kind of blossomed into, you're single? Yeah, I'm single too. So, what are you doing? And it turned into a 1.5 year long relationship. Now, we kept it quiet from the management for the longest time. And apparently the management said that there was a employee handbook, and I never saw it because when I got hired on it, I practically had to remind them, do you need a copy of my driver's license and my social security card for your records? And, oh yeah, I guess we do. And, I kept contemplating, am I really an employee here or am I just filling in? But, she and I, we ended up dating for about 1.5 years, but we kept it quiet for quite a long time. But then everybody just kind of like, yeah, they're dating. And and that's, like I said, it became a type of thing where people enjoyed seeing us together because we were always happy together. We always hung out together, and we worked well together, and people just enjoyed seeing us together. She would do things like leave me a dirty note or rub up against me at the inconvenient time just to embarrass me. She got a kick out of that, and it would embarrass me, but still kind of fun. I really got to admit it. But after a while, based on my experience, bartenders, we all get hit on. No matter who you are, there's going to be somebody that falls in love with you, whether they're 2 drinks in or they're sober or 5 drinks in. And every once in a while, it didn't happen to me all that often, I don't think. Of course, according to her, according to her, a girl would have to hit me over the head with a 2x4 in order to get me to know that she's interested in me. But guys would hit on her every once in a while, and then I started realizing the evils of jealousy. And I trusted her. I didn't think she was going to cheat on me or anything like that. But there was that one thought in the back of my head, like, well, he has a better job than I do. He's got a better body than I do. And, I kept seeing the things that were better about him than me. And so I started thinking she's going to dump me any second for this guy because I am not that guy. Well, I had to come to the conclusion with a lot of banging my head against the wall. She's with me because I'm me. It doesn't matter, whether I had a great job or anything at the time. The jealousy part was really hard to deal with because it was just like, stop it. You're here to work, and you can trust her. But the 2 guys that were hitting on her were pretty much relentless. Even though after they started getting a little bit too personal with her, she's well, I have a boyfriend. He's standing right there, and yeah, they were pretty much relentless. After a while, they pretty much gave up and started talking with me. And before it was just like, yeah, whatever, that guy. But after a while, they started talking to me, and then I started flipping them shit like I always do. In fact, I think one of those guys was the first guy that asked me to step outside, and I told him, no, thanks, I don't need a blowjob right now. But being jealous sucks. And it throws anxiety and tension into the workplace. even though she reassured me more than she should have, because I really should have taken the hint a lot sooner, that I had nothing to worry about. Everything was completely cool, and we'd still go back to her place. We'd watch a movie, have a late dinner together, and whatever else happened, that's none of your business. But it lasted for a while, and eventually management did find out, and it took them a long time to find out because nobody was really talking about it. But I was terminated, and during the phone call, yes, phone call, when I was being fired, the management said it had nothing to do with whatever relationship was between me and the other bartender. And I said, well, yeah, now I think it does because you brought it up. And I was mad because just the day before I was sitting there thinking that we brought in a lot of business. We had regulars that looked forward to seeing specifically us. More her probably, but seeing us together, they came in specifically because they knew we were working together. We brought in a ton of business, but then the manager decided that one of us had to go. And of course, since the bigger draw was her, it was going to be me. And I agreed with it. But after I was fired, I called my girlfriend up and I said, I was just fired. And then comes the decision between couples. If you're still dating while you're in the restaurant or while you're working, what do you do? Now, to me, between me and my girlfriend at the time, she said that we had to talk about it. And she said, I would have quit too after you got fired, but I kind of need this job right now. And I said, hell no, don't quit. You're still making big money there, and there's no reason for you to quit. It's just all about what's good for you. I mean, I wouldn't expect her to quit just because I got fired. And, I got another job shortly thereafter, and I didn't get to see her as much, but we still managed to spend time together up until the point where we finally decided the relationship was over. But it was kind of a relief, now that I think back on it, that she and I weren't working together anymore because, like I said, jealousy sucks. It just really sucks to see somebody that you're dating and watching people relentlessly flirt with them and hit on them. And I always felt like shit for being jealous like that.
Hey, bartender.
Mint Mobile has reimagined the wireless shopping experience and made it way easier. There's no stores, no salespeople, no nonsense. Just a huge savings on the nation's largest, most reliable 5G network. With plans as low as $15 a month, you have unlimited talk, unlimited text, and you can find the perfect data plan that suits you. You can even bring your old phone if you're still used to it. Or if you want to get rid of your old phone and upgrade, Mint Mobile has a large selection of phones for you to choose from. Just follow the link for Mint Mobile in the description of this podcast. Check out the plans and the opportunities for you to save some money with your new wireless service. Go to mintmobile.com today. But jealousy aside, I mean, do you ever sit back and think if you should date or who you should date? I mean, you sit back and you're really comfortable with somebody, and you know that they're really popular. You know that they get a lot of attention, and can you handle it? Or if their job is actually a higher level than yours. Management. Now, managers, they do date their employees from time to time. Now, that's come up a lot in and the negative stuff of sexual harassment and all this stuff, but we're not going to talk about that right now. We're going to talk about the honest relationship between server, bartender, and management. Now, the whole thing about that is you can create animosity between you and the other employees, because all of a sudden, if you get a prime shift, that's they think that you only got that shift because you're sleeping with the manager, or if you managed to get a day off that somebody else didn't. There's all sorts of complications that go with dating upper management, and managers are actually extremely encouraged, do not date your employees just for that sort of thing, because there's animosity and jealousy and all sorts of stuff that can happen. And not to mention the breakup that happens after that, because inevitably it will become a breakup, because it's becomes too difficult. The manager all of a sudden has this obligation. So I want to try to make people happy. Now, I can't play favorites here. However, there is a person out there that is I care about a lot, but I want them to keep caring about me. How do I do that? Then they sit back and think, well, the easiest way is not to play favorites. But when it comes to the person that you're dating, that you want to be with for at least a while, you want to keep them happy too. Then it becomes a huge stressful point. And managers, if you are listening to this, I don't suggest you do it at all. If you have all of a sudden start having feelings for one of your employees, file them away. Make put them in your mental slideshow if you want, but don't follow on that, just because it can cause more problems than it's really worth. But have you ever been uncomfortable? You walk in, you know, two of your coworkers are dating, and they're just in the beginning of the relationship where they're all touchy, kissy, and all that sort of happy horse shit. And you go into the dry closet, or you go into the walk-in freezer and catch them making out or whatever. God, is that uncomfortable, isn't it? And, they have that real uncomfortable moment going, we're just, make up some goofy story about we were counting the dimples on the oranges. How do you do that with your tongue stuck down somebody's throat? It's just weird. But, if you're in a relationship and you happen to work in the bar, sometimes you can't help but, you want to get a little bit closer just because you can see them or you can smell them or something like that. But you got to control yourself in the workplace. Trust me. Because it makes, single people jealous, and people that aren't as happy in their relationship at that time very angry, and that's usually going to come from a customer. But it is kind of fun every once in a while to see the most unlikely couples get together. You see a lot of memes on social media where you see this really gorgeous person with that they say is the server or hostess or something like that, and then they show a picture and then have pointed out who's the line cook, which isn't, you see the caliber between the two people, and it's a little bit off, but the heart wants what the heart wants. That's all it comes down to. Now, basically, with all that said, people, in Hey Bartender Podcast's opinion, should you date in the workplace? If I had to say it, I would say, who cares? If you like the person and you want to get to know the person, just take them out on a date. See where it goes from there. And just be prepared for the ramifications if things go south. And because you will end up being together and on the same shift. If it was a bad breakup, it can be really, really uncomfortable. And by bad breakup, I mean incredibly large argument or somebody cheated on the other. you're going to have to deal with that other person. And it might come to the point where you decide, okay, one of us has to go and, go get another job because one of us can't handle this anymore. Or that long talk with the manager saying, can you change my shifts around so that I don't have to be around this person anymore? Then the manager has to ask why and then mediate why, you two can't work together anymore. That's an uncomfortable conversation, trust me. But there's always that hope out there to find love. We're always looking, and since majority of us in this world spend majority of our time at work with the same people every day, at least a third of our day, a third to half of our day is spent at work with these same people. You get used to these people being around you. You like these people being around you. And sometimes you just want more. And if you're brave enough to go for it, you go get it. And remember, if you do have feelings for somebody, just go with it. Don't sit back and overthink, they're going to probably say no. And if they do say no, that can cause a little bit of uncomfortable workplace environment. But there's also a great chance that they'll say yes. And there's a huge chance that things will turn out really good for both of you. And, hopefully it blooms into something else. I had a coworker. He worked at a restaurant. He found out he really liked this girl. This girl really liked him, and they enjoyed working together. They're almost opposites because he was a joker, really smart. She wasn't so much a joker, but she was really smart, and they got along perfectly. And now they've moved on from the working in the restaurant industry to better jobs, and they're married. And I'm really, really happy for them right now. So should you? Yeah, why not? Just do it. See what happens. Just remember there might be some ramifications a little bit later if things don't turn out good. But there's also great opportunity out there that things will turn out very good. So, just go with the flow. If you decide that you like to be around each other, see where it goes from there. Because you don't really want to miss out on an opportunity for happiness, do you? Well, that's it for Hey Bartender Podcast tonight. It's a short one. Sorry about that, people. But, that's what I have to say about dating in the workplace. It can be good. It can be bad. Roll the dice. But just remember, if you think that there's a possible chance of happiness, don't miss it. Don't miss any opportunity that comes up your direction because you never know. That's just the bottom line. Special thanks to Laura Hope and the Arctones for the music in the theme song for Hey Bartender Podcast. Go check them out on iTunes, Spotify, or their website, www.laurahopeandthearctones.com. Just Google them, you'll find them. And special thanks to Canadian Ginger Girl from TikTok for the drink special. She'll find out that she was a part of this podcast a little bit later. And remember to go check out Raw Rev Energy and Mint Mobile. Links to their websites are available in the description of the podcast. And as always, my favorite part of the show, I wish you all lots of love, lots of sex, lots of happiness, and don't take any shit from anyone. Good night.
What do you mean it's last call? I just got here!